everyone, and welcome to my corner of the world. Today I'm going to be sharing this card with you, and I want to thank Connie Stewart of Simply Simple Stamping for the inspiration on this. As you can see, it's got lots of layers, and it was perfect for showcasing this fabulous designer series paper that is in the latest catalogue, the 2021 annual catalogue, and it's called Simply Elegant. And you can see that it has all these fantastic designs, and they are foiled. There's like gold, silver and copper, so they're foiled on one side, and on the other side they're plain but beautifully patterned. But being the ingenue that I am, I couldn't resist all the foiled size. So I'm going to share with you how I made this card, with due thanks again to Connie for her inspiration. So to support all the beautiful foiling, I went with very neutral colours, and I've used grey granite for the background and for my layers, and basic grey with basic white for my other pieces, so that it's the paper that takes centre stage. So I'm going to start by making my if you like, the bit that has the mechanism that makes it stick out. Now, this piece of cardstock I have here is 11, and I think it's 5 1/4. Yeah, 11 by 5 1/4, and it's been scored. Let me see. At, I think it's 1 3/4, 1 3/4. Anyway, if you look beneath my this video, you'll see a link to my blog, and there it will have exactly the dimensions on all of the cards and all of the score for all of the pieces and all of the scoring. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a slit at 1 1/4 inches from each of these edges, and I'm going to put my slit between the first and the third score line. So I'm going to line up my edge. If you look here, this is 1 1/4 just here. So I'm going to line up my edge, and my dark grey one here, this is the cutting blade. And I'm gonna, if you look, and I showed you this in an earlier video, but if you look on this here, there is a mark, a little slot in the plastic there. Let's see, I don't know if you can see, there it is, and it's visible on both sides of the thing. Now, where that mark is exactly where the blade is underneath. So when we pop this in at 1 1/4 inches, if we line up that little mark with the first score line, and I'm going to put my finger where my third score line is. So there's my third score line. The reason I do that is to make sure I don't go too far. So I'm going to just cut down there, and I'm just going to gently, on the last few marks, a few fractions of an inch, I'm just going to gently ease that down, and there I've got my first cut. And then I'm going to flip it over and repeat again. So again, put this up. I'm going to pop it down where the first score is. I'm going to put my finger on the third score mark, and I'm just going to bring it down, and then just bring it down the last few fractions of an inch so that it hits that third score line. Okay, so we're done with the trimmer. And so we've got our cuts. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pulling this panel forward. So you're going to have a mountain fold here, and you're going to have valley folds on those side pieces. And the way I found it worked for me was if I put my fingers on this mountain, on the valleys, and then squeezed gently and just bring it up so that this mountain starts to form. So if you see, I'm squeezing, the mountain starting to form, and these pieces will now fall into place. Pop these in like that, and I'm just gonna squeeze those up, and I make sure all my corners and all my edges line up, and then I'm just gonna put a nice fold, and then I will use my bone folder in a moment. So that gives us that part of the card, and then all we're going to do now is to fold this down on itself, and then we've got that mechanism. And so this is a decorated, this is decorated, and then these panels are all decorated here. And so in with the bone folder, and I'm going to pop those folds in, using it just to make sure they're nice and crisp. So there we've got that. So then we've got our pieces of designer series paper. Now, as I told you, they are a wonderful selection. And I think I've managed to use 5 of them. Now, again, you will check the link below my video, and it will take you to, so you can see these dimensions of all these pieces. And so I've got my 2 long pieces, and then I've got layers. I've just layered them onto grey granite, and these are my other pieces. So there's 4 pieces. These are like 1 inch by 1.5, I believe. Okay, right, so we're just going to use a little multi-purpose liquid adhesive. Oh, and there it is, hiding behind. So those of you who follow my blog know that I like the liquid glue. And I hope you can see that I don't put a lot on. You don't need a lot. And so I'm just going to pop these pieces down. And part of the reason is that I like this adhesive is that it gives you some working time. So if you want to, if you place your piece of paper down and it's not quite in the right place, you can smoosh it around until it's exactly where you want it to be. Okay, so now I've got these 4 pieces. Now 2 are going to go to the top and 2 are going to go on the bottom. So where did my other 2 pieces go? Where's my other 1 piece? That's the trouble with pre-cutting this out. I've gone and put it down somewhere and can't find it. Oh well, I'm sure it'll appear soon. So you want to watch your patterns just to make sure you get them going in the right way. So oh look, there it is, it got stuck underneath it. So I'm going to make sure that I stick all of mine with sort of the arch going up, but you can always stick them with the arch going down. It's just that I figured that if they were going in different directions, they wouldn't look quite so good. I mean, you could, I guess, let me think, we'll have a look in a minute. So if I did this one where the arch is going upwards, maybe this would look quite nice with the arch going in the other direction. Let's see, do I like that? Oh, I didn't put it the other way around, did I? No wonder it didn't look, it wasn't. Well, let's try it. All right. And then my last two pieces, my last little piece here. And I'm just going to set those aside to just set for a few moments as a dry. And then I'm going to attach my other pieces. So all my pieces are layered onto the cardstock. So again, I'm just going to use my multi-purpose adhesive there, and this goes onto white. Now, when I'm doing layering like this, I always put adhesive on the smallest piece, and that way I know that I don't accidentally get adhesive where my card is not going to go. So I build up smallest to largest like that. We can set that aside. Now we have there's a piece of Whisper White cardstock. So this is the piece that's going to go in here. And I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. And I'm using the basic grey ink pad with the Coordinating Elegantly Said stamp set, and I just love this lacy piece, and this flower is delightful. And those of you who know me know that I love nice fonts on my greetings, and the fact that this has got lovely images and nice words, greetings, this is just one of my favorite stamp sets. Right, so I'm going to take the nice big lacy piece, and I'm going to plonk it right in the middle, but to the left here, like that. Now it comes out a bit dark, but once it starts to dry, the colour mellows a little. And I'm also going to put this greeting, it says, "All the things you do are simply amazing." And I'm just going to pop it here. Now, you may have heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it again. When you're stamping like this, I deliberately stamp at an angle and off center. And that way you're not gonna get all troubled because it's not level, it's not centered. Deliberately don't make it level and deliberately don't center it. Easy peasy, and all the stress is gone. And then I am going to let that dry for a moment. And then I'm going to stamp this beautiful flower. I love this flower. I'm going to stamp that here. And then there's this cute little guy. I think it's a butterfly. I think it's kind of a sideways stylized butterfly. So I'm just going to stick him up there like that. And I think I'm done there. I am done with my stamping now. So again, I'll let that dry for a few moments. And now I'm going to take a couple of strips of the designer series paper, and I'm using the same pattern as I used down here. So because I kind of did one up and one down, I need to make sure I do the same thing on here. Not that it matters, but it's like the engineer in me that comes out, you know. If you're going to do it, it's, you know, we've got to do it properly. All right. So this piece is going to go across the bottom. Now, when I'm attaching to designer series paper like this. I always like to cut it a bit on the long side, and that way it's easy to trim, but it's you can't stretch if you cut it too short. So I'm just going to take those little paper snips and do that like that. And then I am just going to attach it to the inside here. And I'm going to use a little bit more glue than I normally would, because there's a bit of extra, needs a bit of extra strength here, I think. Alrighty. There. Tiny little bit of oozing there. Right, so now I'm going to just finish off attaching my last few panels. So this one is going to go on the inside like that. There we go. And that's looking really scrumptious and sumptuous there, don't you think? I think it's gorgeous. All right. And then this piece is actually going to go here, and it's going to cover part of this panel as well as this. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to stop that score line that's there. It's going to stop that from folding. It's actually going to stabilize this panel. And I am going to use some Stampin' dimensionals. And this is the only piece really on the front that I'm actually popping up, because otherwise there's quite a lot of bulk on this card and it would just add even more. All right, like that. So I'm gonna, let me close it like this, and then I can see where my edges are to center that up. Lovely. And then I've got a piece, I know that the measurements of this is 5.5 by 4.25, and that's the piece that's going to be the backing. And so again, I'm putting my adhesive on the smaller of the pieces of the card, and I've got a small little margin around all the sides. I just need to make sure I haven't got any adhesive on my hands. There we go. And then my final flourish is my greeting. Now I've already done this bit, and I've simply stamped at an angle my greeting, and I've punched it with the elegant punch. And I'm also got some copper. This is copper foil, and I'm just going to cut this in half along this ways, and I'm going to attach it half and half to the back of this to give me a little bit of a layer. Again, just tiny little bit of adhesive, and I'm just gonna sort of smoosh this around, and so it's attached, it's level on the sides, but it's giving me a border at the top. And then we're going to do the same for the back, for the bottom. Now, yes, you've got a gap in there, but to be honest with you, nobody's going to see that gap because it's going to be tucked in the on the front of the card. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that I've managed to move that, and I haven't got the border that I was hoping for. Okay, there we go. Make sure it's as even as I can get it by eye. There, I think I like that. Okay, and then some Stampin' dimensionals on there. I think I'm going to put 4 just to be absolutely sure. There. And I'm going to pop it on my card at an angle. And it actually, I'm going to put it so that the greeting actually looks level. That's a good way of making sure it's level. And then my final couple of flourishes is a bow out of the grey granite shimmer ribbon. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I have a video on how I tie my bows, which will be a link to. And then I've got, look at this, I've got a couple of opal rounds left. Look at that too. I need to put those on my order, next order. And I'm just going to pop that at the top there. I've got my envelope I've already decorated, and there we are. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. I mean, it's such a fabulous paper, and I hope you'll look at purchasing some. Particularly, we've got a special going on this month, and if you've enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Thank you for your time, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.